Hi Gemini, welcome to your love reading for February 2019. This is Elizabeth from channeledguidance.com and you are watching YouTube channel Channeled Guidance Tarot. Okay, so I've already shuffled the decks for you and you did have two jumping cards. They are right here. The first card that jumped is the World, and you also have the Three of Pentacles. So the Three of World does represent endings. It can represent closure, but I feel we know with the Three of Pentacles because they did jump together. The message could be that for some of you, you can have a new cycle in your love life or in your relationship. But with the Three of Pentacles, this means that it requires a lot of effort on your part. If you're already partnered, it could be that you can kind of end a difficult phase if you both work together. And again, both of these jumped. I do have the box of the deck that I'm using this one. From now on, I'll try to put it up here if I have it. Sometimes I don't have it because they're just kind of old decks. But since many people ask what decks I'm using, I'll try to put them up there from now on. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with this deck here. Let's start off with 9 cards. This is a love reading for the sign of Gemini for February 2019. You have the Knight of Wands. Love reading for the sign of Gemini for February. You have King of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Gemini for February. You have the King of Wands. Love reading for the sign of Gemini for February. Three of Cups. Love reading for the sign of Gemini for February. Five of Cups. Love reading for the sign of Gemini for February. 9 of Cups. Love reading for the sign of Gemini for February. 2 of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Gemini for February. 7 of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Gemini for February. The 5 of Pentacles. Okay, what's the most important thing that Gemini needs to hear about their love life for February 2019? And the card that you have, ironically, is the Three of Pentacles. This is the card that jumped for you when I was properly shuffling. And again, this means that there has to be a lot of effort, because I do see, just kind of looking over your spread here, I do see that there could be some issues in your love life. You have the Five of Cups right in the center, which can represent that you're feeling kind of sad, or maybe there's been a loss. And then you have the Five of Pentacles down here, which again represents emotional poverty. So you could really be struggling, maybe, you know, to move to that next level in your relationship, or for change, because you did have the World endings and a new cycle. The Three of Pentacles is telling you that in the month of February, you're going to have to try really hard to move forward. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. And again, if you would like to get a private reading with me, Gemini, just go to my website, channeledguidance.com. And again, you are watching this on Channeled Guidance Tarot. Okay, so let's see what you have going on here. Let's start with the top row. You have the Knight of Wands, the King of Pentacles, and the King of Wands. So you have the energy of two people. One of these could be you. If you have a moon or rising and an earth sign or a fire sign. The King of Pentacles would be Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. The King of Wands would be Gemini. Sorry, the King of Wands would be Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. So I feel like one of these is you. Whether you have a moon or rising, or this is just the energy that you're in. And what I see here is, this is kind of like determination. Determination maybe to stay in a relationship. The Knight of Wands, this is someone who will not give up. This is someone who kind of, you know, has their eye on the prize and who's not going to back off as far as getting what they want. This is someone who's very self-confident and maybe keeping their partner, or maybe even kind of attracting a specific person, or, you know, this is someone who's thinking, I'm gonna have this relationship and I'm gonna do whatever I have to do. All the Knights represent change and movement, and this Knight, again, this is things really kind of happening in your love life. It could be you that you're really determined, but you did have this as a main energy, the Three of Pentacles. So I feel like in order for things to change, again, all the Knights are change and movement. There has to be a lot of effort. I do see you together there with a partner. Now in the second row, they're all cups. 3 of Cups, 5 of Cups, 9 of Cups. So I feel like there's something happening in February where there's just a lot of emotional energy around you. Again, the cups represent feelings, emotions, and I feel like there's something very, very emotional. You have the 5 of Cups right in the center, and the 5 of Cups does represent sadness and tears. So there could have been a loss. Perhaps you're, having to try really hard to reconnect with a partner. That could be what I'm seeing up there. I just see two people, and then someone that's really determined to change something. Someone who's not going to back off until they get what they want. Really trying, Gemini, in your love life is really going to pay off for you. Again, some of you are feeling a strong sense of sadness. You're just disappointed with the way things are going in your love life or in your relationships. This is a challenging card, but I mean, look at what's surrounding it. You have the Three of Cups, which represents celebration and happiness, and then you have the Nine of Cups, which represents wish fulfillment. It also represents just being extremely happy. So although there's some sadness around you, you just may be disappointed, maybe that you're not getting along with a partner, or you're just kind of having a lot of ups and downs. Perhaps someone has even left your life with the Five of Cups. I do see you celebrating something, perhaps a reunion. Again, it could be that you're having to really you're having to really hang in there and try and really kind of work on a relationship that you feel is falling apart. Because I do see happiness around something that's bringing you down is the best way I can explain what I see here. Now in the bottom row, you have kind of an interesting message here. You have another 5. You have the 5 of Pentacles. You have it with the 7 of Pentacles and the 2 of Pentacles. Now the 2 of Pentacles is telling me that things are very unsettled in your love life. You may be in a relationship where you don't really know where you stand. The 2 of Pentacles is kind of wishy-washy energy. For some of you, you could have met somebody who's maybe disappointed you because maybe they're just not really trying. Maybe they're not showing interest in you. But again, the 2 of Pentacles can also mean there's a lot of ups and downs. This is something that's not solid. It's not secure. And you have this with the 7 of Pentacles right next to it. So 7 of Pentacles, it does mean that someone's doing a lot of thinking. And it could be that you're thinking about a relationship where this person is, they've really let you down emotionally. And perhaps they're not giving you that sense of security. Or maybe it's not an exclusive relationship. Maybe there's someone else in the picture. Maybe not for everyone. But with the 7 of Pentacles, someone is doing a lot of thinking and a lot of soul searching about their love life. And I feel like something is happening for Gemini that's, it's really making you unhappy. You have the 5 of Cups here and the 5 of Pentacles. I feel like there's a sense of sadness around you, loneliness. Something may have happened with a partner where they have completely shut you out of their lives. There's just a lot of emotional energy around you. I feel like something's really upsetting you. And for some of you, it could be that you're thinking, like, what am I going to do next? What's the next move? Should I leave? I mean, you do have this with the 2 of Pentacles, which again, this is kind of everything's up in the air. Nothing's for sure. The 2 of Pentacles can even represent a choice. So, I mean, this can be a choice. And then the 7 of Pentacles usually also represents a choice. Weighing your options. Very carefully planning what you're going to do next. And I'm saying it could be you, but it can even represent your partner. It could be that maybe you're watching this video wondering if things are going to work out between you. Perhaps somebody has taken a step back from the relationship. Maybe they're kind of contemplating, like, do I want to stay in this relationship? Keep in mind that the main energy was the 3 of Pentacles. And remember, this jumped for you when I put it back in the deck and it turned out as the main energy. So that's a strong message for you. And again, this means effort. So even if even if you're feeling really emotional about what's going on in your love life right now, keep in mind effort. You have to work really hard to maybe bring a relationship back into balance. I'm just noticing now that you have the 3 of Cups and you have the 3 of Pentacles. The 3s do represent growth and expansion. So, I mean, I feel like your relationship is changing. So for some of you, there can be some unhappy changes along the way, but it doesn't mean you're not going to get back together. It's just that the relationship is just kind of going through a phase where someone is changing, both of you. It's just time to move to a next level. Remember, you had the World jump for you as well. Okay, so let me get a few more cards for you. What other messages are there for the sign of Gemini for February? You have the 9 of Swords. What other messages are there for the sign of Gemini for February? You have the 4 of Wands. Messages for the sign of Gemini for February. And Death. Okay, so that's pretty intense. Let me look at these cards, see what they mean for you. So I see that you're doing a lot of thinking, and this is not just thinking, this is a lot of worrying. There's a lot of agonizing, and it could be that you're agonizing and maybe You're not going to be able to work things out with someone. Maybe someone has left you, or someone's talking about leaving. The Nine of Swords means that someone is just kind of agonizing mentally. You're worrying. You're worried to death about something, and this is what you're worried about. The Four of Wands. You could be worried about your marriage, because this is a marriage card, but it could also be that you're worrying that you're not going to get that long-term relationship, or you're not going to have a sense of stability or commitment, because I do see that here. Some of you have a relationship where maybe there's wishy-washy energy. Maybe there's a lot of ups and downs. Maybe it's a relationship where someone comes and goes. There's a lot of worrying about, you know, are we going to get married, or are we going to have that exclusive relationship? I do see a big change here. You've got death. Nothing is more dramatic than the death card. This is a huge change in your situation. A huge, I'm even getting a huge decision. I mean, hard to say in a general reading, but I feel like something you're agonizing over, something you're worried about, whether it's a relationship or a marriage. I feel like there's going to be something dramatic that maybe changes your mind or changes your partner's mind. Maybe somebody has talked of leaving. It's just very emotional energy. But I feel like something could change in your favor. Because keep in mind that although I see you being sad here, there's a sense of happiness around you. So I feel like there could be a positive change. Okay, let's go ahead and see what the confirmation deck wants to tell you. What other messages are there for the sign of Gemini for February? You have the Four of Swords. What other messages are there for the sign of Gemini for February? You have the Four of Wands, so that's a repeat card. What other messages are there for Gemini? And the Ace of Swords. What's the most important message that Gemini needs to hear about their love life for February 2018? And you have the Sun. So you could not ask for a better card. The Sun is telling you everything's going to be fine, especially for those of you where you're just doing a lot of agonizing. You're worrying, you're imagining the worst. You're imagining they're never going to come back, or they're cheating on you. The Sun is telling you there is a lot of success around you, but keep in mind that the other main energy is about effort and working together. So you can succeed if you're really trying to build a relationship or save a marriage. There's positive energy around you in the month of February. This is a card of happiness and marriage and success. So take advantage of that. You also have these three cards. So now you have, let me just look at this. Because I know I think it's, yeah, you have 3 fours. Four of Swords, Four of Wands, and then the Four of Wands is actually a repeat card. There's another one over here. So that's 3 fours. The fours have to do with stability and kind of building a foundation. So for some of you, this could be the month where a relationship where there's been a lot of ups and downs, maybe no stability, something could change there. That could be that's what the Death card represents. Finally commitment, finally stability, or finally you feel secure in a relationship. It does seem like someone's doing a lot of thinking in the month of February. You have the Four of Swords, which to me, I mean, this is a really mental card. Someone's doing a lot of thinking and kind of trying to collect their thoughts. This could even be healing, maybe, because remember, you do have this really upsetting energy from the Five of Cups and the Five of Pentacles, so you could be healing from a relationship. It could also just be the healing of a relationship, because you have the Four of Wands here and you have it here. So marriage, let's start with those who are married. This tells me that your relationship is strong, your marriage is strong. For those where you're just maybe in a relationship, this is a card of commitment and stability. And again, you have a lot of fours in the spread. The fours representing stability and a firm foundation. So I feel like you're working on that in the month of February. I feel like there could be a breakthrough, a mental breakthrough, clarity. Someone could, be figuring out that they do love you or they do want to stay with you. This is mental clarity, a new perspective, a new way of looking at things. So perhaps there's been a partner who's been coming and going, making you really unhappy. The Two of Pentacles, the Five of Cups. Maybe you've been really confused. You feel like you've been emotionally shut out. It just seems like the month of February, there's going to be, it seems emotional. But I also feel like there's some issues of like stability, or perhaps a relationship where it has not been a sure thing. I feel like there's some big change there. Like somebody might actually be ready to commit, which is, I feel like for some of you, this will be pretty shocking. It could be that someone starts speaking of marriage and moving in together. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the X spread using this deck right here. I've already shuffled it. Let me just get these out of the way. And remember, the X spread, it can represent, you know, a relationship where maybe you were together many years, but sometimes people ask, can it be someone that you dated or was interested in? Of course, it doesn't have to be a commitment or a marriage. You did have a jumping card. Let me show you that one first. You have the Tower. So, I mean, you did have death, and I told you I feel like there could be a big change, maybe someone who didn't want to commit finally commits. I mean, for those where you're looking at an ex, there could be a very sudden change. They could be that they suddenly change their mind. You did have the Ace of Swords in the first spread. I'm looking at it right here. I mean, it still applies to you. It's still your reading for the sign of Gemini. I feel like there could be a shocking change, or even with a Tower, it's going to be shocking news from your ex. So let's put it back in there. And if it comes up, it comes up. Okay, so let's see what cards come up for you. Gemini and their ex, February 2019. You have the Five of Pentacles. So this is a repeat from the 9-card spread. Gemini and their ex for February. The Two of Wands, Gemini and their ex, February. The Nine of Wands, Gemini and their ex, February. The Star, Gemini and their ex, February. The Devil, Gemini and their ex, February. The Queen of Swords. Okay, so the Queen of Swords is probably you, because I mean you are an air sign, but if you have an ex who's also a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius, that could represent them. So kind of strange energies here. I mean, you have the Five of Pentacles, the Two of Wands, the Nine of Wands, the Star, and the Devil, and the Queen of Swords. I mean, it could be that this is up to you, kind of where you are as far as where you're thinking, because remember that you did have the Nine of Swords. I'm looking at it right here. A lot of imagining the worst, a lot of agonizing. The Devil can represent negative thinking, negative beliefs. You also, I mean, the Five of Pentacles, that is a repeat card for you, because that card was in the spread, and when these cards kind of repeat themselves, I only pulled 6 for you. Here it is. So I feel like this is significant. For some of you, the Five of Pentacles could even just represent what happened between you and your ex. Again, it could be that they just kind of shut you out, and you don't even know maybe why things ended. But I mean, the Five of Pentacles, it does, again, it represents emotional poverty. It could be that this is where your ex is. For some of you, I'm getting that as a message. I feel like maybe both of you are unhappy, because that is the energy I saw in the 9-card spread. You know, you had the Five of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. Now you have the Five of Pentacles again. It could be that, you know, things are on hold. I mean, you have the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is not about endings. This is about things just, you know, being on hold, delays, and waiting. Because there is a lot of fear here with the Nine of Wands, and actually even here with the Double. You have the Nine of Wands. Someone's just being really protective, really paranoid. And yes, it can be that you're paranoid that you're not going to be able to get somebody back. That you're doing a lot of agonizing. That would definitely tie in with the Devil and the Nine of Swords that you had in the first spread. But it could also be that there's something going on with your ex where maybe they're holding back from you. Maybe there's something they're not telling you. You know, with the Five of Pentacles 2 times, that's significant for you in some way. Since this is a general reading, you'll have to think, like, what does that mean for me? Again, this is emotional poverty. Someone just feels just completely like shut out. They feel like they've been left out in the cold. And it could be that, yes, you're feeling that way, but it could even be your ex. And again, someone's really holding back. There's just a delay in your relationship. I do see you getting what you want. I mean, you have the Star. The Star represents your hopes and wishes being granted. And it is a major arcana, but you also have this major arcana that's not so positive next to it. And it can represent negative thinking, because it is right next to you. So again, the Devil ties in with the Nine of Wands, and even with the Nine of Swords, which came up in the first spread, that maybe you've become really pessimistic. Maybe a lot of time has passed. I know as more and more time passes, you start to think, well, they're probably not going to come back. And you just, you know, you get in that place where you just don't really believe it anymore. But I see you getting what you want. And remember, in the first spread, although you had the Five of Cups, you had happiness around it. I know you had the Three of Cups on one side. Yeah, it was the Three of Cups and then the Nine of Cups on the other side. So I saw happiness around your unhappy situation. So I feel like that's a strong message that Things are going to get resolved between you and your ex. Let me pull one final card. What final message is there for Gemini about their ex for February 2019? The Ten of Swords. So, I mean, it could be that, there was a betrayal. The Ten of Swords can represent someone being stabbed in the back, lied to, betrayed, just deeply, deeply hurt. Perhaps it's time to heal, to get past that betrayal. Again, you had a lot of emotional energy in the first reading. It could be there's something that has to be forgiven before you can put everything back together. Remember, the main energy was the Three of Pentacles, which jumped for you, and I put it back, and then it kind of turned up as the main energy. So there has to be a lot of effort. That also applies to your situation with your ex. There has to be a lot of effort to make things work. And here's the card. Remember, there has to be a lot of effort, maybe to work things out, to heal. Someone has not moved on from something painful, and that could be why this card has repeated itself. Someone is still feeling that isolation, that loneliness. Like, why did they do that? Why did they shut me out emotionally like that? Why did they just cut me off without an explanation? Someone is not... I also feel like for some of you, it's just a sign that your ex has not moved on. The Ten of Swords is usually a loud message that it's time to move on, but I feel like someone is not. Also, just remember, this was the main energy from the... Again, from the first spread, the Sun. There's positive energy around you. Yes, you have the Devil, but that could be negative thinking. It's right next to you. It could be your perspective. Positive energy, optimism, success. That is kind of written all over for you for the month of February. Take advantage of it. I feel like you can fix things with your ex. You just have a delay is all that you have here. There's a pause because there is fear. There's uncertainty. There's suffering. Again, there could be something painful that happened. But the Three of Pentacles is the main energy from the first deck. Teamwork, really trying. I feel like you can bring things back into balance. Okay, Gemini, this has been your love reading for February 2019. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you again next month.